Alright, Madam Web. So Madam Web is directed by S.J. Clarkson and stars the girl from the 50 Shades franchise. An origin story for Cassandra Webb, who gains psychic powers in the womb when her mother is bitten by a spider. Can I just ask, why are we still doing these anymore? What's the point? Why are we making these movies? I mean, Venom was alright, and I liked it. It's not great, but it's alright. And it feels like they're just setting up for some sort of Spider-Man universe that's never going to happen. It's a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. This just doesn't exist. None of this matters at this point because we don't even have Spider-Man in this world. And I'm so sick of these. I really am. I have to say though, out of all of the Sony Spider-Verse movies that we've been doing, not the Across the Spider-Verse ones obviously, those are amazing, but the Venoms, the Let There Be Carnage, Morbius, all of those, I think I can definitively say that this is the worst one yet. Oh my gosh, there's nothing to like about this movie. Nothing. Okay, positives. The spider suits. There's the girls get the spider suits at one point in the movie. It is only for, I want to say like 5 minutes total. Like there's 2 scenes where you get to see the suits of what these girls will become as spider people. And they look good. And some of the combat's okay, actually. I will say there are some action scenes that are competent. Because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, it's still fun for me to see somebody in a spider suit crawling on walls and, you know, doing spider fight things. I think that's all I got. Alright, look, obviously I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I have loved him my whole life. He is my favorite superhero. I love the comics, the animated shows, especially the animated show from the 90s, the movies, the Raimi films, everything. I love him. He is the ultimate, most amazing, spectacular superhero that exists. Because of that, I want to like these movies. I really do. That's why I go every time hoping that maybe this time this one will be interesting. You know, when Venom came out, it was like, well, this is an interesting idea. I had fun with it, and maybe we can keep going. And then Let There Be Carnage happened. I was like, well, I didn't love this, but maybe we'll get a good one. And Morbius and all these things, it keeps happening every single time. They're just terrible. Let's start with the acting. Oh my gosh, it's like watching a soap opera. I don't get it. It's like nobody wanted to be there. Or if they wanted to be there, it clearly something happened in production or in post-production that made them look incompetent. I wasn't buying anything at all. They were even going for some emotional scenes and big revelation scenes, you know, like the Marvel formula. You get these powers, you deny these powers, and then you go on a journey of discovery that lets you know the depth at which these powers take you and what you can do and your ultimate final moment. And it of course follows all of this, and it just does it so poorly that I don't care. I was so bored watching this thing. Oh my gosh, I wanted to leave. I didn't leave because I was going to film this review, but oh man, I wanted to walk out. It's not interesting. I mean, look, Madam Web is a cool character in the comics, and obviously I know her through the animated series. Is actually my first introduction to Madam Web. I feel like that there's potential for something there. If you want to do a Madam Web solo film, I guess it could work, especially if you're opening up the Spider-Verse idea like she does in that series. But it just doesn't work here at all. I don't care about her. I don't care about the people she's trying to protect. I don't care about any of these characters. The villain, oh my... no. This man, I don't think he actually spoke, by the way, when filming this thing. Like, 98% of his dialogue had to be ADR, because nothing matched his lips, what he was saying. It was like watching a bad Godzilla movie. You would be looking at him like a close-up shot. You know, so even something like this, we're just looking at him, and he's saying words that don't match anything like what his mouth is saying. It honestly looked like that sometimes. What else? What else? I don't know. What do you want me to say? It's just horrible. There's this plot device of the spiders are actually supernatural, almost, and they give the people... how did they put it? It was so weird. Basically, there were these spider people who lived in the forest, and because they were bitten by these spiders, they get spider-like powers. And they just are basically a tribe that lives in the forest who help this dying mother, and because they helped her, she now gets Madam Web's psychic powers. Which also, by the way, I don't think they actually called her Madam Web in this. I'm thinking back. and I don't remember hearing it. I know there were posts on social media about it, which is making me question that, but I really don't think they actually call her Madam Web at any point in this film. And sorry, I'm jumping back and forth, but back to the point about the ADR, I think that again just shows how lazy of filmmaking this is. You know, they shot something, and instead of trying to create a cohesive story and plan this out and write something strong and adapt that to film and go through production. I understand ADR is a big part of production, but still going through all of this and getting to post and then just deciding, you know what? Screw it. Let's just make him say whatever we want him to say. It doesn't match his lips? Ah, that's alright. We don't need to reshoot anything. Who's gonna care? Who's gonna care, really? Who's watching this that's actually gonna care that he's not saying what we think he's supposed to be saying? It's insulting. It's insultingly lazy. I also find it hilarious that one of the biggest selling points for this film was seeing Spider-Woman. Or, I guess, Spider-Women? Because there's 3 of them, and they all have these really cool spider suits, and that was advertised in advance. Posts and magazine covers and all that sort of thing of these Spider-Women and the suits and how cool that looks and how we're actually kind of excited to see this adaptation of them on screen. It's 5 minutes. It's the opening of the film and the closing of the film, and that's it. The teenagers are also kind of annoying. They're characters that you don't really care about all that much. You only care because you know that they're gonna turn into these spider people, but that's really it. They're not overly likable, and there's a scene in a motel where they do try to give you some backstory and make these characters likable and make you care about what's going to happen to them in the final act, but in my opinion it just doesn't work. No matter what they tried, I still found them annoying and kind of dumb in ways, like making very illogical decisions throughout the story, and it felt like they were making decisions because plot reasons. We just need a reason for them to do this. For example, they're told to wait in a certain location for 3 hours. If you can wait here 3 hours, we'll be fine. I'll be right back. I'll help you guys. That sort of situation. What do? Of course they don't wait in this situation. They go over to a diner and start dancing on tables. I don't want any more of these. Sony, please stop making these movies. If you're a Spider-Man fan, it's insulting. If you're not a Spider-Man fan, it's just a bad movie, and I really don't know what they're trying to do at this point. The CGI is also terrible. I mean, I'm sure you would figure that by now with how much I'm just ragging on this thing. Production quality is awful. The CGI is laughable. Scenes of especially in the early parts of the film with this tribe that I talked about, the spider people, where they run through the trees and they're carrying a person and they're running through the trees. And it looks like a video game from like 2003, something you would have played on PS2. It's just lazy. It's very clearly a cash grab trying to capitalize on Madam Web, a character from the Spider-Man universe. The people behind this film, I'm very sorry, they don't care. Or if they do care, they have a really bad way of showing it. Also, this is really random. Ben Parker's in this. Yeah, Uncle Ben is in this movie as a paramedic. He's her partner. And there's a point where his sister is going to have a baby, and they're trying to figure out the names. It's Peter Parker. We know this, and there's so many references to Peter Parker and Uncle Ben. It's just pandering. It doesn't come off genuine. It's shallow, it's cheap, it's trying to give this some substance where there is none. That's it. I'm not going to talk anymore about this. I've wasted enough of your time as it is. I've wasted enough of my time. I never want to talk about Madam Web again. I'm giving Madam Web a 1 out of 10. That's the worst rating I have. I don't do 0. That feels a little weird. Everything has like one thing that's positive you can pull from it. Yeah, well, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Madam Web. I really hope you didn't see it. If you did, I'm so sorry. Or tell me, you know what? What's your favorite Spider-Man? Of the 3, just the live action, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, who's your favorite Spider-Man? Let's have a positive conversation. Subscribe for more reviews very soon, and until then, so long, friends.